Hi, my name is Jack Costello. I'm here to talk to you about a Lean Six Sigma implementation program. I worked as a green belt for a Lean Six Sigma project at a company called PCI Group in Fort Mill, South Carolina last summer, and I would love to share my experience, or some of my experience with y'all. Here's a general overview of what we'll be discussing today. We're going to go through a Lean Six Sigma overview, the differences between lean manufacturing and Six Sigma methodologies, DMAIC principles, belt certifications, projected costs and savings, then pros and cons to the program, and then my sources. So what is Lean Six Sigma? Lean Six Sigma is a continuous improvement process made from two separate methodologies. There's lean manufacturing and Six Sigma. And the graphic just goes to show that these are two coexisting processes. So lean manufacturing was pioneered by companies like Toyota and Ford in the early 20th century. They prioritized cutting down all types of waste from a process and eliminating them. And they can apply to multiple processes. There's one 5S. Each S stands for like safety, secure, blah, blah, blah. Kanban and others that we will not be discussing today. Of those 8 wastes are defects, which are faulty products, waiting, which is time spent waiting around for things to happen, transportation difficulties, motion waste, that's just unnecessary movements, walking back and forth a lot through a large facility, for example, overproduction, where you make too much and then you have stock overflowing, which can lead into inventory problems. Non-utilized talent, when you have either very capable employees not being fully utilized or the opposite. And extra processing, where there's too many steps in a process that are really weighing it down rather than adding any value to it. So lean manufacturing aims to tackle all these issues. Six Sigma was created by Bill Smith and Michael Harry, an engineer and CEO from Motorola, respectively. They implement tools and techniques used to improve processes over time, some of which include DMAIC, Sigma levels, and belt certifications, which we'll be going over pretty soon. So first off, DMAIC stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control. This is the main methodology over a long term that Lean Six Sigma processes use. The first step is to define a problem. Just very clear, go through your problems, define the scope, goals, budget, impact that you are wanting to get out of it, as well as the voice of a customer as how that can help them in the process, and use all that to develop a project charter moving forward. Then you begin process mapping, so you can understand current environments, understand certain processes, where chokeholds are, or where very efficient systems are you could maybe not put so much attention towards. And yeah, you just collect data and thoughts about that. After a period of that data collection and analysis, in the analyze phase, you should identify all the areas of concern after you've measured them. There should be certain processes, certain steps, or other criteria that are becoming more obviously a problem, whether they're wasting time or any areas of concern. You should then prioritize these and hypothesize different solutions to each one of those problems. And each problem should have multiple solutions made for it. For example, sometimes some solutions are better cost-wise, and some are more feasible to do, more easy to implement, and it just depends on what the goal of your project is as to which of those you would prioritize and choose moving forward. Here are some examples of different methods you would use to analyze data in this step. On the bottom left, we have a fishbone diagram where the middle line holds the main problem and all the lines that are extending off of it can be different factors that contribute to that problem. In the top we have a Pareto analysis chart, sometimes called an 80-20 chart. And what this is a amount of failures or wastes or whatever you're tracking for. You'll display all of the causes of a problem, and you'll stack up how many times they occur or how big the mistakes are, whether depending on what you're looking for. And most of the time it should come out to something like this, where the top majority of your issues come from a small group of big issues, while a very small amount of issues come from the rest. So using a chart like this, you would identify that the root cause 1 and 2 make up the majority of issues. So those would be ones you would want to focus on rather than root cause 7 or 6. They also have the 5 whys method, which is just a method of getting down to the origin of the problem by continuously asking why. So if there's a lot of defects, you can say, why is that? Well, the machine hasn't been cleaned. Why is that? Well, we don't have a maintenance person. Well, why is that? We fired our maintenance persons. Why is that? There was no one else in the maintenance department and he was overloaded. That would be an issue. You need to invest in your maintenance department so that this doesn't happen again, etc. Following that, you have the improve stage, where you develop those solutions that you've chosen to move forward with, and you experiment with them in controlled environments to see the validity of their outcomes. And once you can guarantee that they will have an impact, you implement those solutions into the company. Now, the control stage is a long-term stage. It is to develop and maintain a plan moving forward. Now that you have these improvements, you can ensure that these developments are followed by your employees as well as encouraged. That way, new employees who come in will feel more obligated to follow these protocols, and older employees will be able to uphold them better. And doing this in a cycle will maintain a continuous improvement environment that has countless benefits for the company. Your company will be measured in sigma levels. They are a way to measure the precision and effectiveness of a process and how well it can meet a customer's needs. Measured in levels 1 through 6 based on defects per million opportunities. So sigma level 1 has a significant amount and only 31% of their product is yielded. And all the way down to sigma level 6, they have near no defects at all, 99.9999999% accuracy. It should be stated that most companies cannot achieve a 6 sigma level, especially for a long term. The only companies that have achieved this did it in a short time frame for a specific project or goal that they were accomplishing. No company has done that for like a 20-year period or something like that. Belt certifications are used to signify a person's knowledge and role in a Lean Six Sigma project. They go in the order of white, yellow, green, black, and then Master Black Belt or Champion Black Belt. And here is a video to somewhat highlight the importance of these.
Now, in the world of Lean Six Sigma, certifications are critical, and there's 4 key certifications. There's a white belt, a yellow belt, a green belt, and a black belt. So let's talk first about the white belt. Those are individuals that understand the foundational terms of Lean Six Sigma. A yellow belt, they have a basic understanding, so they know a little bit more, and they oftentimes support process improvement projects. They don't really lead them typically, but they oftentimes support those projects. Now, green belts, they have an intermediate understanding of Lean Six Sigma and oftentimes lead small process improvement projects, or they may be working on or supporting larger initiatives. Now, black belt, they have a deep understanding of Lean Six Sigma, and they lead large cross-functional projects.
So the projected costs are based off the level of desired belt certification, the project, the size of the company, and the provider. And they can vary pretty greatly. So take most of these with a grain of salt, but white belts come anywhere from $0 to $100 per employee trained. Yellow belts are $100 to $1,000. Green belts are, well, I have that backwards, but $3,000 to $5,000. Costs are based off of the level of desired belt certification, the project, the size of the company, and provider. So they can vary quite greatly. Take all these with a grain of salt, but white belts can be anywhere from free to $100 per employee trained. Yellow belts can be $100 to $1,000. Green belts can be $500 to $3,000. There's a typo on the slide, but that should be $500. Black belts can be anywhere from $1,000 to $7,000, and master black belts can be anywhere from $2,500 to $10,000. Now, some of these numbers do account for previous steps. So for you to go to white, yellow, green, black, and all that, accumulated can get very expensive, although that's not the case, and most people don't have to follow that. There are opportunities where someone would skip straight to a green belt certification or a black belt certification. And here just a list of some projected costs of different providers and different types of certifications. Some come with exams, some are offered by a company, some are self-paced, some have long-term aspects, some you can crush out in a weekend if you have the time. Just examples. Projected savings. A successfully implemented Lean Six Sigma program should include the following and more. Should have improved employee attitude, understanding, and communication within the company. It should have more efficient systems and processes across the company. It should have reduced forms of all 8 types of the waste. And it should have continuous improvement plans to maintain that prosperity built. Building such an environment would have dramatic effects on the employees and senior staff involved. Here's a graph showing the waste expenses of companies that implement a Lean Six Sigma program, as well as compared to ones that don't. The green bars are companies that do have a Lean Six Sigma program, and the red ones are ones that do not. You can see on average, the Six Sigma companies have significantly less amount of money spent on waste, which directly translates to more profits, bigger, which directly translates to more profits and bigger margins. And you can also see that not every Lean Six Sigma project immediately just works. It is dependent on the effort put in by the company and the employees there, as some companies like Alpha Inc. and IOTA Systems, although they do have a Lean Six Sigma program, they are being beaten by ones who don't, which means their program could be improved. So some of the pros and cons are it's potentially too expensive, depending on the size of the company and the budget, to implement this company-wide. Although, to that degree, not every employee does have to be trained. Only a certain number of employees deemed necessary for a project to occur need to be trained. Although most companies do establish, if they are a Lean Six Sigma opportunity, or if they do have those opportunities, that most employees will be trained to at least a white belt level to have an understanding, but if they don't wish to go any further, then most don't. It does require a long-term commitment to a goal, and there are no immediate results, and that can vastly improve multiple sectors of a business, regardless. And it does face an initial hurdle with potential dismissal or disapproval from employees, as they may not like the initial change. But if they do accept that, it builds a beneficial understanding and open environment for employees to thrive in. These are, I believe, the main pros and cons and why you should adopt and implement a Lean Six Sigma program to your company. Here are my sources.